everybody, how you doing? My name's Dave, and if you're gonna show your face on camera today, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? So today we're gonna do something different. Today I am either not gonna have the screen capture or have it only minimized in the corner because today I really just want to talk to you. I had some thoughts over the weekend, and I wanted to just kind of get them down on tape here. So I want to talk about staying valid as you become an older musician. Now look, I got about 300 subscribers on YouTube. I know my demographic. My demographic is 40 to 60-year-old white men, mostly in America, and a few in the UK, and a few in other places in the world. But mostly, it's a bunch of old guys like me, because we're the only ones that can afford to make music on the iPad. It's like, you know, when you see that 60-year-old guy driving the Ferrari, well, he's the only one that can afford a Ferrari. I figure that's why it's all of us old dudes on these iPads. Maybe there's a lot more millennials on the iPhones. I don't know. I just know who's watching my videos. But how do you stay valid in your own head as a musician? And here's what I mean. I don't know about most of you guys. I can only speak from my own experience, but I wanted to be a professional musician basically my whole life. Not necessarily a rock star, because it's a little different, but I wanted to be a professional musician. And I spent many, many years working in studios, playing in bands, going on the road. A lot of it sounds a lot more glorious than it really is. But I had a moment there where music was paying my bills. It was a short moment, but it was a moment. And the fight and the struggle that I've always had with my own musicianship is trying to feel valid as a musician when I'm either taking a break from gigging, or I'm still working a day job, or I have something that is getting in the way in my own mind of my own validity. Meaning, I put guys that I admire, the musicians that I listen to, the albums that I like, you know, we tend to, as musicians, pedestalize these people, put them up on this pedestal like their lives are perfect because they have achieved this thing that we strive so much for. And in my mind, I can say how many times that I've had the thought of, like, I don't feel like a real musician. Like I can compete musically, conversationally, whatever, with these musicians who are clearly, I admire, but I'm just some guy working a job, making some videos, raising my kids, doing the thing. So it's very easy to feel inadequate as a musician, like you're not good enough, you haven't reached a certain level, you haven't paid enough dues, you're not this, you're not that. It's easy to be super self-critical. So I wanted to talk for just a few minutes about that and about my thoughts. It's taken me a long time to get over that feeling of not being enough, not being good enough, not being a good enough engineer, not being a good enough musician, not playing on enough records, not having enough to show for it, not having the album that's current, not having a song that represents what I do, not having my best stuff on record, or this, or there's always excuses that get in the way of why you're not whatever it is that you want to be. And I'm here to tell you that you are all of those things. But there's a couple of shifts you have to make in your head. It took me a long time to get over all that, and I still fall prey to it. But the thing that helped me out is to realize the reasons why I'm making music in the first place. Why am I doing it? Am I doing it for the accolades? Am I doing it for the money? Am I doing it for the crowds? Am I doing it for the fame? Am I doing it because I want people to know my name? Maybe all of those to some degree, more or less. Honestly, though, the reason I should be doing it, and the reason that I've come back around to doing it, is because it makes me happy. I've realized that the thing that makes me the happiest is being in that moment of creation. Working with other people, by myself, whatever it is, but that moment where you get so consumed by whatever it is that you're doing, the whole world just falls away, and the only thing on your mind is the music itself. Whether that's a live performance or writing with somebody or producing something or being in a recording studio with a bunch of other music, whatever situation it is. But for me, that's the moment. That moment where everything else just kind of goes away. And I'm getting back to that more and more, of just doing it for the pure joy of doing it. But I can't help but compare myself to other people's output when I see it or hear it. Jakob Hack makes a track and he puts it out and I think, oh, that's so much better than anything I do. Or Doug puts out a video and I go, oh God, his playing is so much better than mine. Or, I don't know, on the Audiobus forum, Lady Aptitude. Yep, I'm going to drop your name. She writes these great, funky tracks, and anytime she drops a track, it just sounds great, and it's produced great. And every time I think, like, I suck so bad. I don't have any output. I haven't put out a song. I haven't put out anything. I don't have anything to show for all of the effort I put into this or all of the money that I throw at this. And that's a big thing with me, having something to show for it. For me, part of it is these videos are something to show. I have something to, hey, look what I'm doing with all of my knowledge. I'm actually doing something with it. That's a big deal for me. Not so much for other people, okay? But I have a lot of hang-ups with this stuff because, you know, I feel this constant need to prove my own ability. And that's just an internal hang-up in my own head. It's only in my own head. Nobody else cares. Nobody else cares whether or not I'm a good engineer, or whether or not I can write good music, or whether I'm a good bass player, or a good guitar player, or a good singer, or a good this, or a good that. Nobody else cares. I'm the only one who cares. I'm the only one I have to prove it to. And it's hard to keep that in the front of my head, or the front of your head. You know, a lot of this is dealing with getting older. I constantly think like, oh, everybody is just me doing whatever I'm doing, until I realize, right, I'm not young anymore necessarily. I'm in my mid-40s now. You know, and I'm on the younger side of the guys in this kind of middle-aged club. You know, I haven't hit 50 or 60 yet. You know, with all of the millennials now making their presence known because they're all in their 20s and they're going to be the ones that are going to run the world pretty soon, it's easy to feel like the older guys don't have anything to offer, or, I don't understand these new kids, or this new style of music, or, rock and roll is dead, and everybody's just pushing buttons on a computer nowadays, and grumble, grumble, bitch, bitch, moan, moan. All that shit's in your own head. It's all in your head. And it's in my head, too, and I struggle with it constantly, but you only have to validate your musical presence to yourself. You only have to validate your own output to yourself. You can be the greatest musician in your own bedroom, and there's nothing wrong with that. And really, that's where I'm going with this video. There is nothing wrong with whatever your level of musicianship is, whatever your level of musicality is, because there's no reason to compare yourself to anybody else. If you're making bloops and bleeps on your end, and you're making ambient noises, and all you end up doing is spending 2 or 3 hours with a synthesizer, making noises in your own head, and at the end of those 2 or 3 hours, you didn't come up with anything, awesome. Who cares? Did you have a good time? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you put out songs. It doesn't matter if you put out something somebody else listens to. It doesn't matter if anybody likes anything you do. None of that matters. Because you have to get back to doing it for the reasons you initially started doing it in the first place. Are you having a good time? Do you like what you're doing? Does making the sounds please you? Do they make you smile? Do they make you happy? Do they fulfill you in some way? That's really the core of what we're talking about. It doesn't matter how many apps you have. Doesn't matter which apps you have. Doesn't matter what your workflow is. All of that stuff can fall by the wayside. None of that matters. It matters is if you're making yourself happy. Everything else has to come from that place. That's why these people are successful. The ones that we all idolize, the ones that we like listening to, and we like their music, and we use them as inspiration and all that. They're doing it for those reasons, and if they're not, maybe they should be again. But I think that's how we all got here in the first place, right? Was that we just loved the doing of it. And then life and our brains get in the way. You are no less valid a musician than the guy up there making a couple $1 million per show. He happened to have the opportunity presented to him or her, and they managed to be smart enough to see it and take advantage of it. Not all of us get those opportunities, or not in that same way. It doesn't mean we're any less musical or have less to offer or have less to say. Everybody's got their own niche to fill. In case you weren't feeling validated enough, this is a little motivational video for you. We talk a lot about apps here. Everybody talks about what they bought on Black Friday. Hey man, I bought a few Black Friday things myself. I'm luckier than a lot of people that I have some spare change and I can buy these apps, most of them, when they come out. That's a choice that I make. The only thing you have to justify is you have to justify it to yourself and make sure that you're having a good time doing what you're doing. On anybody else if they're not interested. So keep it up, everybody. You guys are doing great. Don't ever feel like you're less than somebody else or your output is less than somebody else. It doesn't matter. We're all still learning. All of us. We all do things differently, and we all have different things to show for it. Go watch these other YouTubers. But I would encourage you to watch videos of people working with software you're not familiar with, because go out there and learn some concepts. Okay, the apps, the tricks and tips for the apps themselves, that's the easy part. Getting the concepts down, understanding the why these are happening, understanding the principles behind these things, that's how you become a good sound engineer, a software programmer, sound designer, any of these things, okay, is learning, understanding the whole concept of these things. Get out there and make some music, guys. I'm done blabbing. I hope you liked the video. I'm going to do more sort of stream of consciousness things like this as I think of them. You know, I didn't really have anything musical that I could settle on that I wanted to talk about today, so I just thought I'd talk about feeling musical and what it means to be a musician nowadays, and certainly what it means to be an older guy still trying to be a musician. So thanks a lot for watching. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll have more back to the app stuff in another couple of weeks. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'd love to do some more of these things if you guys like it. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.